Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. We have a special guest with us today, Emma Broermann. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. No complaints over here. I'm glad that you were able to take time out of your schedule to hop on with us, especially being that the season is right around the corner. So I'm extremely thankful for that. For those that don't know, obviously, if you're not paying attention, the only season that's right around the corner is college basketball. We had a college basketball player on with us at North Florida. How did you end up choosing North Florida for the school that you wanted to go to? And was there any other possibilities? Because you had a successful career in high school.
Mhm.
Why North Florida?
Yeah, so I was actually choosing between three different schools that I had set up for official visits.
Mhm.
First being Austin P. I kind of had them all set up in like a span of 3 weekends, like back to back to back. So I had gone to Austin P first, and I got back from that visit, and I told my mom, I was like, you know what, I think I'm set on Austin P. Like, I think I want to be there. Like, it's 5 hours from home, closer than the other two schools, which were UNF and LaSalle. And I was like, it's pretty close. I really like the girls. I love the location. Me being from the country, it kind of had that country feel to it. And I love the coaching staff. And my mom was like, well, you know what? Like, you should probably take your other visits. And I talked to my recruiter, and he was like, you should take your other visits, just see what's out there, just to make sure that that's the right school for you. And I was like, okay. So I took my visit to UNF as a vacation, if you want to say that, because they were going to take me to the beach and, like, I'm in Florida. So, but I came down here, and like I was pretty close-minded, but I came down and I fell in love with the campus. I'm 10 minutes from the beach, like can't get any better than that. I'm like an outdoorsy person. I love the beach. So that was a plus. The campus, beautiful. And I like clicked more with the girls here than I did at Austin P, which was kind of surprising for me because I was like, you know what, I fit in pretty well with the Austin P girls. But I came here and I just like fit right into everything they had going on. So, I talked to my mom and I was like, hey, like, I don't know what I want to do anymore. Because like I just had this feeling when I was here, like it was kind of like my home away from home.
Mhm.
Being that it was 12 hours, I was very nervous, because I am a homebody and like my family's so tight knit. But I just, had this feeling inside of me, and I ended up committing pretty fast, and I didn't even take my third visit. And after talking with my recruiter, he was like, well, if you have that feeling and if you think that that's the right thing for you, then go ahead and do it. So yeah, I just love the campus. The coaches were great and the girls were amazing.
Shout out to moms and the recruiter for making sure that you went for the second
Right.
and then once you just get stuck on Austin P. So shout out to
Right.
them. Now you mentioned that it is the 12 hours away, right?
Hmm.
Has that been for you? I mean, you've been there for a while now, but how has that been for you, being that far away from home, being a homebody, having a close knit
Yeah.
family? How has that been for you?
I will have to say my freshman year was pretty hard. Um, like the summer, I think was the hardest for me.
Mm.
And my mom told me, she's like, if you need me at any time, like just call. And she's like, I'll do what I can to get down there. And sure enough, like July 4th weekend, I called her and I was like, I'm so homesick. Like, I need you to come down here. And she found the next flight down. But it's nice because Allegiant flies down here Mondays and Fridays. And it's like she can get flights for like $60.
Mm.
So it's like it's really nice that it's that convenient and like that cheap, and we don't have to like pay hundreds of dollars to fly back and forth. Um, but as soon as I got like more acclimated down here and school, like fall semester started my freshman year, I was pretty good. And I'm very fortunate that my parents come to a lot of games, home and away. I'm very fortunate for that, but that makes it a lot easier. But I will say now, um, I get homesick a little bit, like everybody, when you see like my family has Sunday dinners every Sunday. So like they call me, they FaceTime me, they pass me around. So that's fun, but it is sometimes around the holidays, get a little homesick. But like I said, I get to see them quite a lot because they're coming to games. So it was hard at first, but I will say it does get a lot easier as you get acclimated to your new area.
Shout out to the support system for the support
Mhm.
coming to the games. Definitely could understand that. I didn't have to go through that. I tried to leave, but my mother wouldn't let me leave. But my cousin, he went from Jersey all the way to Stanford.
Oh,
That
wow.
first year, his mom had to move out there and like live with him to get him acclimated.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
definitely understand like having that distance,
Yeah.
especially if you have a close knit family, it
Mhm.
definitely is a challenge at first.
Yeah.
Obviously, you made it through. You're doing well.
Yeah.
Success on and off the court. Let's
Mhm.
go back to the beginning. What drew you to basketball? What about basketball made you love that sport?
Yeah. Well, it started off, my uncle played at Indiana State. So I grew up like my first basketball game, I was like a few days old. So I just grew up like going to watch him play and like through high school. We all went, my family like all went to the same high school. So we kind of have like a legacy name, if you want to call it that. Um, and I just like everything, they were like, "Oh, you're Matt's niece." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, but I just wanted to be like him when I was younger. I was like, wow, like he played basketball like in this big arena and like there were so many people watching, like I want to be like him." And of course, my mom and my dad play basketball, but it started off as kind of just like a sport that my mom threw me in.
Mm.
I played like a ton of sports growing up. So it's just something she threw me in and I was like, wow, like I'm pretty good at this. Like I'm the tallest one out here. This is pretty fun. Like I could get used to this. But really stemmed from like watching my uncle play and just like growing up in that basketball environment and basketball family that really like drew me to it.
Family, legacy, mom, dad, uncle, everybody play. That's always dope. So basically, right, if I go to Ohio, I could say I know you and I'm good.
Yeah.
So for you growing up, is it safe to say that those were your role models and athletes that you looked up to, or were there other people that you looked up to accompanying the family that played basketball?
Yeah, well, those were like probably the main factors that were my role models, but I also love to watch Elena Delle Donne play. And like I had always wanted to see her play in person, and my dad finally took me to a Indiana Fever game. So that was like so cool. He took me and my uncle went with us. Um, but also I had this like goal in high school to become the all-time leading scorer at my high school, which I achieved. But I looked up to the lady that held that record, specifically on the women's side. There was a guy on the men's side that held like the all-time scoring record, but it was by 1 point. But I had always looked up to this woman, and she was a great basketball player. My mom played against her in high school, because my mom went to a different high school, our rival school, I guess. Um, and so they were good friends. They knew each other. She was a coach at the time, and I just like loved everything about like watching her coach, like how my mom talked about her as a player. And so she was my other kind of role model for basketball.
That's dope. Especially like you said, for your first role models and first people to actually be looking up to is the family. And I'm sure you can attest to like they taught you how to play the game right,
Hmm.
raised the right way. So it was different from having like somebody that you don't even know. Like, oh yeah, Elena Deladon, but you don't know her. You don't know
Yeah.
how she works.
Hmm.
Showed you how to work, how to be, and they had the track record. You
Yeah.
collegiate, so you actually, could listen and understand what they're saying for that. So
Yeah.
once from high school to college, right? Like you said, you all-time leader, you had a lot of success, all state, all these different awards that, was mentioned for you for high school. What is the biggest difference you could say once you got to the collegiate level from the high school level? Or was it just a smooth transition for you?
There's like a few things that are like I think are extremely different. Starting off with like the pace of the game. because in high school, not everyone is like the best like they are in college. So a lot of the times in high school, it's just like, come down and run like some offense. But in college, it's like almost, if you want to say, equivalent to a track meet where you're just going like you push the ball out. Like that's everybody's game plan to begin with, is just get the ball out and try to score in transition. So I think that's the first thing, just the pace of the game. The paces of practice are very different. Like it's really like go, go, go. Like you're hustling to the next drill, you're hustling to the next spot. So I think that's probably the first difference. The second difference is in high school, if you play college basketball, you're probably the best on your team. And, I always had coaches say, like, you were the best on your team, but now that you're here, everybody was the best on their high school team, or everybody was the best on their AAU team. So you're just surrounded by a bunch of talented people. So I would say definitely the other difference would be like learning your role, specifically on your team, but also like you're going against people who are the best in the state, the best at their high school. So it's a pretty even playing field in like those terms. So you really have to like work on your game and be like the best you can at everything that you need to be successful in your role.
That's dope, and that's facts in regarding that. Like once you get to that collegiate level, because this is why we're so happy, like we're able to have you on. It's not many that make it to that collegiate level. It's
Yeah.
a very, very small percentage. And then it's an even smaller percentage when you're talking about the D1s, the D2s, and
Mhm.
the D3s. Like each level, it's a very small percentage to get there. And
Yeah.
you're at the highest level at UNF, playing well. I've looked at the stats, rebounding, blocks, buckets. What would you say is your role for this team, especially from coming, like you said, high school, all-time leading scorer? You could come in and be like, I want to average 25,
Yeah.
but it depends on what the role is. So, what is your role for this team?
Yeah, I would definitely say like over the years, I think it has changed. Just because I feel like I've become such an unselfish player myself. Like I said, like I'm the all-time leading scorer at my high school. So like obviously like, I can score, and there have been games where I can score, but I really feel like my role as of like the past few years has really been rebounding and doing the little things that help my teammates. So like whether that's sacrificing my body to set screens, like drawing two defenders in the paint. And if there's a game where my role is to score, then okay, I'm a score. But if, someone else has the hot hand that game, then okay, I'm gonna get your rebounds and I'm gonna get putbacks. So I really think for me, it's just to bring like the physicality to the game, because I'm like big on physical contact, obviously being the center. I love post play, back to the basket, like burying my girl. So I really think, I do the little things, and that's really my role, like getting others open, having two guard one, getting those rebounds, and if I can score, then score. So,
I think that's really cool to have that perspective. And from interviewing different people, playing basketball myself, that is always needed. You need the players that will do the little things. And I know as a guard, I would love to play with you, setting the right screens,
yeah.
in the person in the post. I would have loved to play with a big like that, because that is actually, I think, one of the more underrated things, and we don't see it as often anymore in
Yeah.
the game of basketball. Those fundamentals of, I have a mismatch, and like you said, I can pin her down in the post
Hmm.
and ball and go score. So I think that's really cool. For you, how do you hone your skills? How do you be the best at everything possible? Like you was mentioning, being at this level, everybody
Hmm.
top of the game.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do almost every day is Micans.
Mm,
I have a really good shooting percentage, field goal percentage. Um, and I attribute that to, coming in and doing Micans every day. Um, I do like regular Micans, 1 foot, 2 foot, front and reverse. But I think something that's really helped me over the past probably 3 years has been this, like, we call it the Mic and Touch series.
Hmm.
And it's basically where you don't use the backboard. So you do Micans, but you don't use the backboard. And it's really just working on your touch around the rim. And I think that has helped me tremendously with my field goal percentage, especially at the collegiate level, because, there's people who are taller than me, people who are probably stronger than me. So really having that like little touch around the rim, I think has helped me be really successful. The other thing I would say is just like going 100% at practice,
Hmm.
because ultimately, coaches say this, but practice is supposed to be harder than an actual game. So, I try to go like 100% in everything I do. And I think that has really helped me. Like in the game, I'm like, you know what? I've done harder stuff in practice. Like this is easier. Like I've been way more tired in practice. Like I can definitely push harder. So those two things I think have really helped me be successful.
Those are major keys, major, major keys for you. You've been there, you've been playing, you played a lot of different games, played against a lot of different competition. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired to keep coming back, keep trying to get better every single year?
I think for me, I would say first thing being family. Because my mom had the chance to play collegiate basketball, but she decided not to. Um, so she's like a lot of my motivation. I talk to her every day. She asks how practice is going. Like she's just so into the game that it like motivates me. I'm like, wow, like this is bigger than me. It's bigger than me in terms of family, but also the other part of it is like having an impact on the younger generation. I know like from back home, I had a post coach in high school and his daughter like loved watching me play. And every time I would come home in the summer, he would work me out and I would also like attend their practices and like help him coach practice and I would go to some of their games and just to be that role model for someone younger, I think like it's so rewarding and so fulfilling to know that like someone's looking up to you. And I did it as a kid too. I lived right next to Miami in Oxford, Ohio. And I actually got to work with a post player there when I was playing AAU, probably in like the seventh and eighth grade. Um, so like if I can do that for the younger generation and just inspire girls to want to play basketball and have dreams of playing in college, I think that's like the most amazing thing I could do for anyone. So just to be a role model, I think is another inspiration for me.
Now, what would you say is that family or like what, inspired you to embrace that? Because I'm sure you've met them and you know of athletes, most famously Charles Barkley saying, I'm not a role model. Why do you embrace being a role model and take, pride in actually helping the next generation?
Yeah, I think it's because it's kind of a hard question. I think it's because I feel like a lot of the times, hmm,
I apologize. I just really like
okay,
that you actually embrace being a role model because
it's
I know
okay.
of plenty of athletes that don't embrace that don't try to reach
Yeah,
help the next generation. And they're just selfish. They're all about them. So
yeah. I think it stems from like I've always wanted to be a coach, like a basketball coach. Um, and I just like I want to help people be like the best version of themselves. So if I can inspire them to just like get in the gym every day, get up extra shots, be the best player on the team or the hardest worker on the team, I think that's and of course like the next generation, like they're gonna grow up and be leaders in our society and be the next basketball coaches and be the next owner of a company. And if you can inspire them, not just like on the court, but off the court too, with like the basketball mentality or like just the life lessons you learn in basketball, I think that could be very helpful off the court too.
completely agree.
Yeah.
A lot of what you learn in sports can be translated into all aspects of life. I
Yeah.
mean, you even see it on a lot of places, like if they're hiring, it'll say sports
Hmm.
minded job. We want you to have a sports mindset.
Yeah.
They're doing sports, but do you have a sports mindset that you could apply to this job? So
Right.
I think that's dope. The season is 5 days away. what are some of your personal goals and what are some of like the team goals, if you can share that with us?
Yeah. I would definitely say overall goal this year, this may be like a weird goal, but it's to have fun because like I think when you're having fun is when you play your best basketball. Like
Yes.
you're playing the game you love with your best friends. Like what could be better than that? So main goal this year is to have fun. Personally, um, personal goal, I would say definitely to improve in all aspects because I do aspire to go and play overseas. So definitely keep improving all aspects of my game. For team, I would say to be in the top 5 of the ASUN. Like we're kind of like in that underdog position right now with like a new coaching staff and a relatively big part of our team is new. So a lot of people I feel like are underestimating us because in my mind, like we have a really good team this year. So I would say just to finish top 5 of the ASUN because I really believe we are gonna make it to the top 5. Um, so yeah.
Well, we're going to speak into existence and we'll be praying that you will be overseas and we'll have you back on once you're overseas, playing overseas. Definitely be locked in, paying attention, hopefully, and praying. Y'all will be, forget top 5. All right. Top 4, top 3,
Yeah.
be dope. And healthy season for all your teammates. We got one more question before we transition to what we like to call the fourth quarter segment, which is more of a fun, get to know, light questions. What would be a piece of advice you would give to someone trying to play at that collegiate level?
I would really say to hone in on your craft. Find what you're good at. If that's shooting, work on it every day. Work on different types of shots from all over. Work on off the dribble, add things to your bag, add the step back, do what you can to improve what you're best at. And I know a lot of people say like work on your weaknesses, but at the end of the day, like coaches are recruiting you. Like they don't like coaches recruit shooters and they recruit post players and they recruit point guards. But at the end of the day, like a lot of the things that your weaknesses are that the coach is going to fix. So really like hone in on what you're good on, and work at it every day to be the best possible. I would also say like don't be afraid of the distance of colleges because I know like I was afraid, but just like really embrace everything that's going on and make the right decision for you based on what college you go to, or if you want to play college basketball, like look for schools where it's a place you would go if you didn't want to play basketball. So even if like you say this one what happened, but say you get injured and you can't play basketball anymore, like make sure the school you go to is a school you could see yourself going to without basketball. I think that's very important. But yeah, so really just like hone in on your craft and be better at what you do best.
Great advice, great gems. If you're watching, definitely take these gems. These are important. Like she said, hone your craft. If you are a shooter, be the best shooter that you are possible. Add to that. And of course, like she said, because basketball doesn't last forever. So, God forbid you get injured. God forbid something, a COVID happens again. Can you be at this school without basketball? Which is very important. A lot of people I know, athletes, don't.
Yeah,
For sure. They just want to play ball. They just want to play football. They want to go play baseball, softball. They don't care about the actual school aspect.
right.
They're just thinking which school is going to put me in a position to make the most money playing
Mm-hmm.
this sport. Which some are lucky you do one and done, and it's
Right,
you don't have to worry about the school. But for everybody else, there's a possibility that you might want to be concerned about the school.
right.
Fourth quarter segment, we ask every single guest that is on the show, what is your favorite meal to eat?
Chicken parmesan.
Ooh. So this
Yeah,
chicken parm, are we having pasta under the chicken parm, or you just have a chicken parm by itself?
definitely pasta under the chicken.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds good. I haven't had chicken parm in a while. I might have to go food shopping this
yeah.
week for some chicken parm. Like
Mm-hmm.
chicken parm is so good.
So good.
Who is Emma outside of basketball?
Outside of basketball, I'm like a real outdoorsy person. Like I said earlier, I love the beach. So if we're not at practice, I'm at the beach or I'm at the pool. Probably the beach though. I love to play spike ball at the beach. I don't know if you know what that is, but love to play spike ball. I have like a group of friends, and every time we go to the beach, we just play spike ball for like hours. So that's really fun for me. Also, I love hiking. It's kind of hard like down here because Florida's pretty flat, you know. But on campus we have like hiking trails because we're located on a nature preserve. So we
Mm,
have like this thing called Eco Adventure, and there's a big lake, and they have like paddle boards and stuff, but they have hiking trails like all like around the lake. So I
mm.
love to do that. I also love to cook and bake. Um, I like have a recipe book and I'm like working my way through like making all of the stuff. So that's really like a de-stressor for me. I love to do that stuff. So yeah.
So I have to ask then, what is your favorite thing to cook? What is your favorite thing to bake?
Oh, favorite thing to cook. Oh, I have two. Chicken parmesan,
Okay.
obviously. And then my chicken pot pie. It's
Ooh,
really good.
okay. All right.
Yeah, and then to bake, that's such a hard one because like especially because everybody's like, "Oh, this is really good," and like this is really good. Um, but I would probably say cheesecake brownies. It's like a brownie with a cheesecake on top of it, and then ice, like chocolate icing. It's really good.
That sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
All three things right there sounds really good. So you have me definitely, I'm definitely going to finish the show and go in the kitchen and cook.
Yeah.
Some- Something's going to get cooked. So
Mhm.
in your bio, you have Proverbs 31:25. What is the significance of that scripture to you?
Um, so I really like I grew up in a Catholic school. I went to church like every week for school. But when I played AAU, I played for an organization called the Cincinnati Angels. And I had every trip we went on, we had Bible study. And my coach was the coach that led the Bible study. And her favorite verse was Proverbs 31:25. And I never really like got into the to like reading the Bible or like scriptures until that point. And I had a lot of conversations with her about it. And she actually got me a necklace with that proverb on it. And I wear it all the time, but it really reminds me that like if I have God on my side and I'm doing what he's put me here to do, that I can have no worries. And I can go through life knowing my purpose and doing it to the best of my ability and serving him through that. And really I can't be stopped. So that's how I see it.
I think that's a snap, a hand clap, all that. That's completely facts. With God on your side, it's nothing that you can't do, which is
Mhm.
why we'll know. A couple years, we will see you overseas.
Yeah.
It will be a successful season this year for you and Nev.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely we'll see it. What is your favorite holiday?
Definitely Christmas. When I tell you, like, I asked my roommates yesterday, I was like, hey guys, would you be okay if I like put Christmas decorations up tomorrow or like this weekend? Because I'm just so excited for Christmas.
I'm the same way. I love Christmas. I have a 9 month old.
Oh,
Legit, we were in the mall. I'm like, yo, I'm definitely going to like, I don't normally decorate, but I'm definitely
mhm.
going to OD decorate.
Yes.
I feel like starting literally, I was like, I feel like starting like this weekend.
Yeah,
I really want to.
I'm definitely putting up my Christmas tree and everything this weekend.
I love Christmas. I think that's
Yeah.
the best holiday.
Hmm.
It's Christmas, and then y'all can debate after that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Christmas, hands down.
Hmm. Agreed.
So if you were playing to win $10 million in a basketball tournament, for example, throwing it out there, who would you have on your squad, including you? So four other players with you to win $10 million. Who's in your starting five?
Okay, so I would have to definitely say Subert. Um, and then I would go with Courtney Vandersloot,
Okay,
and then Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson.
that's a crazy line.
Yeah.
I don't know who beats that lineup. You got
Right.
Snoop. She making sure everybody get the rock. Kelsey Plum getting buckets. Asa Wilson and you locking down defensively
Yeah.
and getting buckets with that. Oh, that would be a crazy squad.
Yeah.
I saw also in your bio you have a highlight of quotes. If you could end off the show and share with us some of your favorite quotes and what they mean to you, like why are they significant to you?
Hmm. Well, I would definitely say the Proverbs 31:25. And then the other one, the other like my second Bible verse, because it's like two Bible verses and a quote, would be Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I feel like those two kind of like tie in together. Because like I said before, if I walk with God, like I can achieve anything I set my mind to. And then my third one is actually, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Glory Road.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one of my favorite movies. So like a quote I love to listen to his the coach's like mid-game speech before games. So one part that I really like out of the whole speech is it's not about talent, it's about heart. It's about who can go out there and play the hardest. They're not going to give you anything, so you have to go out there and you have to take it. And I think that like really ties into like college basketball just because, you know, at the end of the day, like you can be a good team, but another good team can come out and outwork you. And like in college, like nothing's handed to you like it might be in high school. So you really have to like go out there, work your butt off for it, and like take it at the end of the day. So that's a quote I read all the time. Like I said, I listen to that speech before games, and it really like inspires me and gets me pumped up. Yeah.
All great. Two scriptures, the quote. Hard it kind of intends like with one of the quotes that I like of hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Yeah.
Especially in that collegiate game was like you see why did this team win? Sometimes they just outworked them. They wanted
Yeah.
it more. They had more heart, which is definitely like you say in the season for y'all. You guys are viewed not as one of the top teams. You're the underdog, and you're going to shock a lot of teams because you guys are just going to outwork them.
Yeah.
You guys have the talent on the squad. You have the coaching staff, the new coaching staff, some of the new
Hmm.
players. The talent is there, but you guys are definitely going to outwork them, which will then produce the top four in the A Sun and
Yeah.
overseas Emma. I like that. I like that ring. I like that. But y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Bench mob, we out. Peace.